'tis the season to dress up in your festive wearables and go a-wassailing. Now in England, when they went a-wassailing or a caroling, they dressed up in their long woolen coats, their scarves and their muffs, and they'd carry a bowl or a cup with them. And when people listened to them sing, they'd fill that cup with wassail, which is a spiced ale, and they drink to each other's health. Well, I know you'll go a-wassailing or a partying this holiday season, and I know you'll dress up in some festive wearables. Well, I have several planned for you today. We'll do some patchwork, some applique, we'll even make some yo-yos. Now, I want to start out with this tree shirt designed by Marty Hollis. Oh, it's so easy to do with that diagonal line sewing. Well, this tree is a miniature of the beautiful tree quilt made by Wendy Cecil. Oh, she said this quilt grew just like the trees. She said every time she found a green fabric, she'd make another block. Well, Wendy did some beautiful hand quilting down through the chain. She even did some hand quilting up here in the light triangle. Well, I especially like the way she finished it with her label, with some holly and some berries, a wonderful finishing touch. Well, I know that Wendy will want this quilt on her king-size bed this Christmas, so I promised to ship it back to her. But I think I'll let Orion do that, and we'll get started on our wearables. Marty found some t-shirts with some patchwork on them at a department store, and when she looked at the price tag, she said, whoa, I can do that myself. And she's right. You can too, because it's really quite easy to do. You'll love it. Now, this is the tree right here. You can have a close-up look at it, because you see right here, this is probably the trickiest part to match. Then it's just 3 parts of the tree, trunk right here, and 2 rows, top and bottom, with no sewing on them. And boy, those are my favorite rows too. Now take a look, because it's all rectangles and squares, and the green gets wider as it goes from top down to bottom. Starts out here with a 1.5 inch by 2.5 inch green. Then this one is also 1.5, but now it's 3.5 inches wide. This one wider at 2 inches by 5 inches, and oh, that little trunk is just 1 by 1.25. And then each of the light background pieces just go out so that by the time the block is finished, it's 6 inches wide. Just a little miniature block to do. Now that's the diagonal line sewing we need to do. So take this piece right here, this top row right here. We're going to flip it right sides together, and think how the tree grows in that angle. So take your ruler and offset it just a touch off of the corner. So when you drop your ruler, then you can see that line. Ooh, let me see if I can get it right on there. Any pencil will do. Just draw it corner to corner. And that's our sewing line. Well, actually, we're going to sew just a tad to the right of it. So take this piece, line it up, make sure that your needle is centered. Let me get that slipped under there. Oh, I need my stiletto, because these are such small pieces. Now, right here, line up your needle so it's just right to the right of the line. Hold on to your threads, because this is the part that the machine just loves to eat. And then just line that up so that right along there, 15 stitches, 18 stitches to the inch, rather tight stitch. Now, once you have your sewing done, then just trim that off 1/4 inch away. Now, let's see. I think I'll do some pressing on this one. Just drop it on the mat and set it first. Set that seam a little steam, and then you want to push it, press that seam towards the pine. So from this side, it's going to work great. Whoa, already have half of that tree done. Now, just go ahead and line it up. Let's see if we can take a look. That looks pretty good there. I think I'll just take this piece now. It's the same diagonal sewing. Ooh, and I wanted to get done fast, so I already put some lines on it. Think of that angle. Once again, this one's going to have that little point up there. Then look at the next row. when you flip these two light background pieces right sides together, they're like that. Let's move them up, getting wider, getting longer. Okay, and these two go like this. So if you just think of that angle going right down there. Now this step right here, we can do some assembly line sewing on. So I'm just going to stick some pins right through there so we can go quickly through that. And then that trunk is just some straight seam sewing going along. Okay, so just pick this one up, line it up, hold on to those threads. Want to get this matched up at the top. Make sure that seam is underneath. Boy, this is as close to miniature sewing as I come. Hold that tip down right there. Now, each one of these can go right behind it, lining that up and getting it done quickly. You know, this is just a miniature of the tree that Wendy Gilbert actually first developed. She did the Christmas Traditions book, and the tree in that book is about a 12.5-inch block, twice as large as this one. But in her Christmas Traditions book, she did all kinds of things for Christmas, candles and wreaths, all kinds of wonderful things. Okay, now that's the one whole side of it, and I can just go ahead, show you what that looks like just by trimming off these points right here from a 1/4 inch away. It's going to be that same step where you want to just trim. Let's take a look and see right here when we open this up. Perfect. You can see how there's that 1/4 inch seam right there. Press that seam towards the pine tree right here. And there's those angles. You're just going to go back down the other side, get that tree trunk done too. You see these points? Now these are important. You got to hold on to these because these are tips from Elle. You want to have those close to you. Now, once you have the tree done, all the rows done, I like to do a press right down through the middle of the rows so that I can line them up when I sew these seams together going across the other way. Take a look from the wrong side because you can see all those seams right here pressing up away from the top, all the rest going down. Now when this is pressed flat, it measures approximately 6 inches. So I want to square it. Look at those ragged edges. So 1/2 of 6, oh, if my math is right, got that 3-inch line going right down through there. Just hold that down, trim off one side, turn it around, line that up at 3 inches, should be real close to 6. Actually, 5.5 works great too. Whatever you want to square it up to, just get rid of those ends. Now the borders are pretty similar to a quilt. All you want to do is just add a 1.5-inch strip to each side. Right here, the red ones. But this last border, you want to make sure that you have the raw edges so that they're turned under. So to do that, you just take your whole border piece, fold it in half, and then when you stitch it and fold it out, there's a folded edge here instead of the raw edge. The very last top and bottom borders are done a little bit different, so let me show you those. I took them and I sewed them right sides together to the border, but right here in the ends, I left a 1/4 inch on each side. Those get tucked in like this, and then once they're tucked in, pressed in, then you can just go ahead and fold them so that they're completely encased. Then just put it right on the t-shirt, center it on there. You can stitch down those raw edges, those outside edges, and do some machine quilting. Well, my sister Pat always wants a little bit more. She said, "Packages, Elle, I need packages." So she found this great fabric that has packages all over it, and she said, "This is the size I want." So I did some little packages for her just by taking some fusible interfacing, and I put the dotted side against the fabric, right against the fabric, and then I just sewed right around following that outline. And then once you've got that sewn, you just do a little nip right here in the interfacing. Ooh, this is the good old straw and bodkin trick. Just take a little straw, stick it right in that hole, and then with that bodkin, you can just do a push right into the straw. Quickly turn that right side out. Now it has the fusing on the back, so you can just put those packages, fuse them in place right underneath the tree. Now I have one bit of embellishment for you just to finish it off. Take those sleeves and fold them up twice. Roll them up once, twice, and then put some cute buttons right along there. Sew them through all thicknesses. hold them in place, and you'll have a great tree shirt for Christmas. Amber and Melissa came over to help me make some yo-yos, and I thought you'd enjoy seeing their Christmas outfits because they're so cute. Oh, Amber, I just love your Christmas tree.
Thank you.
Oh, made out of yo-yos. Who made those yo-yos for you?
I did.
You did a great job, Melissa.
Thank you.
Well, I like the way that gold rickrack goes down through there. What do you like about your jumper?
I like my gold, I like my gold circles.
They're cute little beads. Did your mommy sew those on for you?
Yeah.
They're so cute. And I love your little star buttons. They're perfect. Well, I think your angel is such a cute outfit too.
Thank you.
Well, what do you like about your angel?
I like the stars that bring out the shine.
You know, I think her blonde hair and that ribbon is just perfect. You know, I have 42 yo-yos to make. Boy, I'd love it if you could help me. Can you help me?
Sure.
All right. How about a yo-yo? How about a thimble? Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
Okay. Get that on your right hand. And now, how about a yo-yo? We better keep these things straight, huh? A yo-yo and some thread. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Have your needle ready? Let's see if you can just take it and just fold that raw edge under 1/4 inch. See if you can get that with your thumb, huh? And then just take some big stitches. Just go big stitches in and out and go right around there. And when you get a couple of stitches on your thimble, on your yo-yo, then just take your thimble and just push it right through. Pull it. Oh, let's see how we can go around that circle. Boy, Melissa, you did such a great job.
Thank you.
Do you like to sew?
Yeah.
You do great. Well, let's see. Go fast around there, huh? Oh, you're getting it, Amber. You're getting better and better. Let's see, I'm nearly back to right where I started. So just as soon as I get right to that end, just a couple more stitches, then all I want to do is just pull that thread tight. This is the best time, huh? Pull the thread tight. Then I'm going to just take this yo-yo, pop it right through so it's right side out, and pull it tight. Then work out those gathers. Make them nice and even and smooth. The very last step, I'm just going to take that needle right from the middle, right to the back. Let me see how you're coming. Pull this. Oh, they look great. Boy, the rate we're going, we'll be done in no time. I have some secrets to share with you. Go ahead and take a stack of fabric and put a circle master right on top. Draw inside the 3-inch circle, and then you can just layer cut a bunch all at once. That's a good secret. How about threading needles? This is the best one. Now this is a needle cassette. Gosh, I have a hard time hitting that hole. This has a hole that's large enough to just stick that thread right through there. I can do that. Then once you have the thread through, you grab hold of one needle. Let's see if I can just get hold of one and just slip it right out. And when it comes out, it is already threaded. Is that not the best for fast yo-yo making? Well, I already have my tree started here. This is for an adult. It has a 9-inch base going right through here, and I started pinning them in place because I just want to show you how to sew these by machine. Well, I have my machine set up with invisible thread on the top, and I'm going to use the stitch that I used to sew my buttons on with. Oh, this is the best. It's a stitch that just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, whenever you have a button, you can see how that catches it. Same thing, back and forth, and just let your bobbin thread trail along, and you can just sew all of these right on there. Now, the wreath is just as much fun. Go ahead and draw a circle, put them on the inside, and on the outside of the circle, you can embellish with some buttons, and your wreath will be great. We have an angel to catch, and she's little, she's fast, and she's appliqued. Oh, she's appliqued using that material called paper-backed web fusing. This is what it looks like right here. It's paper on one side, and then on the other side it has that fusing on it. So take your pattern. This is the pattern for right here for our star catcher angel, and put a piece of that paper right on top, and then with a pencil, just look right through there and draw on all of the lines. Now there's dash lines and there's placement lines. Right here is a placement line. All of those lines should be traced right onto the paper side of that web. And like magic, just like an angel, I've got another one all set to go. So once you've got it all traced, then just go ahead and cut on those dash lines. Let's see if we can just zip right up through here, because we're going to take this and pair it up with each piece of fabric. I can't go and curve so well with this cutter, can I? Let me zip up here. Okay, here's your face. It's going to pair up on the wrong side of the flesh-colored fabric, whatever you'd like. Let me trim this away, because if you don't have that trimmed away, that's going to stick right to your iron. Right here's her dress. You're going to put it on the wrong side of her dress. We need to have all of those stars, right here, the wrong side. We've got her wing, got right here. And let's see, I must have her sleeve. And if you'd like to have a patch, that would be just great too. But take each one of those pieces and use a hobby type of press if you have one. They work great because you can do it so much quicker. Just drop them on your press like this, and then make sure that you don't have any of that paper right on the backing. Now you should follow your manufacturer's instructions, because each time it tells you how long you should put it down. Now some of them say only 5 to 6 seconds. You don't want to do it too long, but just make sure that you get that paper sticking to it. Let me do one more. I'll just do the dress. Pull it down. Doesn't take long whenever you're using the press, and it has that pressure that completely covers it. Looking good. Now you need to let this cool. And it's actually even better if you let it cool for 24 hours before you start peeling it away. But as soon as you get it peeled, as soon as you get it ready, then just go ahead and trim right on the line, right around here. Let me see if I can go quicker on here, because I'm just going to go ahead and pull up to some that I've already done. Okay, these I did yesterday. And once they're fused and set, then it's so much easier just to peel that paper away. Because, see, that one already has the fusing on it. See how stiff that is? I know her patch needs one right here. Now, if you can't get it separated, just do a little tear like that. It won't tear your fabric, but it'll tear your paper. Or else you can even take your stiletto and go ahead and use it, scratch it, score it. And that'll go ahead and get it started too. Now she's going to catch some stars here. So I want to take this ribbon and run it along underneath her hands up to this star. Now I'll tell you something. If I were you, I would use a minimum of stars, because they're a little bit harder to do. And if you just start out, don't put on all of those stars, because what if you can't do the applique on it? It's so much easier if you just put on a few. I'd like to show you some alternatives you could do. How about a button? How about one of these appliques that are all manufactured? This is a wooden one. So leave some stars off until you practice, and leave her hair off too. I think I'm just going to go ahead and snip this ribbon. All right, is she in place? Got her wings underneath, her hands here. She's looking good. So it's off to the press again. Let's just put that right down on there. I had my ruler underneath to hold that in place. Let's just pull that down. Should we count? 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. Lift that up. Oh my goodness. Everything is in perfect position. Look, one little star. Didn't quite catch. Push that back down there. Now, she is ready to just fly away. She's so cute. I love her. Okay, before I start sewing on her, I want to give you some tips on satin stitching. Let me pull all this out of the way. My goodness, it's just taking up too much space. Okay, you want to set your stitch at a zigzag, and my stitch is number 4. And when you look at this, you need to do some checking. It starts out, this is the preset right here. It's a big stitch. Okay, I'm going to keep on reducing it. It's at 4.4, going down to 3.7, 3.1. That's the width that I want, but it's at 2.5 stitch length. I'm going to keep reducing that stitch. It keeps on getting smaller and smaller and smaller until you find out just where you can get a tight zigzag and it doesn't move forward anymore. I'm going to move it back up to 0.5. Okay, so what I have now is a stitch that moves forward nicely. It's a 3 width and it's a 0.5 stitch length. So I'm real pleased with that one. That should work well for me. But you should sit down and do some experimenting first before you start on your angel. Okay, let's do the wing right here. See if I can get this in here. A tip. I always like to store my bobbins and my thread together, particularly for applique, because I think it's best if you have the same color of bobbin as you have on the top thread. But if you do a storage system like this, they'll always be together. So go ahead, I'm using yellow thread, top and bobbin. Just going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it so I can catch that stitch just on that outside edge and turning. Okay, now I'm coming to a little bend in the wing. I want to use needle down, and since it's a curve, I have my needle on the outside edge and in the fabric. So once you're ready to turn, just lift your presser foot, turn it slightly. Okay, now going forward, just catching both those edges of fabric and just keep on turning it slowly as you move. Okay, I'm out on the outside edge again. I have a little bit of a pivot. Now I want to show you how you come into this point right here, because the point on the wing is going to be very similar to the point on the star, just in case you go for all of those stars. I have that stabilizer underneath. I have a number 10 needle in. Okay, now as I come up here, I'm going to decrease my stitch width. I'm at 3 now. I'm going to take it down, keep on getting narrower and narrower so I can get a crisp point. Okay, I'm right out there. So now I'm just going to leave my needle in, raise my foot, turn it around. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, now, careful on that first stitch. Still narrow, and as I'm coming off that point, I'm just going to go back up a little wider each time. Keep on pushing till I'm back up to the 3 width. Oh my goodness, am I pleased. Now this particular part of the wing, I went ahead and I drew the lines before I pulled off the paper back fusing, because I'm just going to go right up here to her head and do a little bit of a curve. Ooh, that looks great. Okay, so you can see how that stitching went along there, so it's a nice crisp point. Same way that you're going to do that star. Well, that technique you're going to use all over this. It's pretty much the same all around. Just keep on changing the threads and doing that. But let me show you some of the finishing touches now. Oh, she needs some hair. So let's get that. Okay, she just needs to have some thread ravelings mixed perfect. At least you could take your leftovers from your threads, unravel them, and wrap them so that you have a piece that's about 2 by 3, and then you can just tie a little hair ribbon right around the outside edge. Something like this will be a cute hair embellishment. How about some glitter? Ooh, we want those stars to just sparkle and shine. This is some glitter that actually has glue around it. Just put a dab right in your paper. Take a stiff brush. This is going to be the best part. Get a little on there. Now let's just take that over to our star. Do like star beams going down. Look how pretty that is. Just a little bit going this way, down across there. Oh, that's beautiful. She looks great. Give her a little hair up there, kind of finish her off. So when you go a wassailing or a partying this holiday season, Enjoy wearing one of your festive wearables.